Jimmy, it's been just over a month since you were announced as head coach of Rochdale Football Club. Just give us an overview about how that month has been.
Hectic, mate, hectic. Fun, exciting, brand new experience, managing a football club through a window in the off-season period. Loads of situations live that move very fast and have to be very flexible and very available constantly. But it's been a very good experience. We're still in the midst of all that. Work is pretty constant, as it should be, and the fans can rest assured that me and my staff are working very, very hard and pretty constantly, really round the clock, on trying to get the best players we can with what we've got available to help us towards, an exciting new season for the club.
Is recruitment and kind of shaping the squad ahead of next season been the main focus in this month?
It has to be. The club is what we all love, of course, and the team is paramount in terms of the club's fortune. So that's where all our energy has had to be focused, and that's the thing I've had to learn pretty fast in terms of focusing my energies and ignoring a lot of the noise around being a manager. That's where being the head coach has been important rather than a manager. There are situations I have to manage, of course, but the football team and the way the players in the football team sounds really obvious, but you can get distracted by so much else because there's so many other people and people around the football club and around the game itself that suddenly want to be in touch with you. They suddenly want your time, and each one of those people, they want 15 or 20 minutes of your time, and before you know it, you've lost important hours or days in identifying players and helping our team get better. I think the managers I've spoke to in this period now, there's a number of managers who are my friends. They've told me that they were working towards targets from February last season. So they were recruiting last season before the season was finished, and they were ready to go with their offers as soon as the last day of the season was done. Offers were in for the players they wanted. So I did find that getting the job sort of a week, 10 days after the season finished, and then trying to build a staff, it hindered us a little bit for those first round of players. There was players that we began to like, and just as we began to move on them, they were gone. They were announcing themselves for other clubs. So we got on the phone to certain players who said, I've just signed for a club yesterday, it would have been perfect. But it's all good learning, and we've continued to crack on, do our diligence, do our business since that point, and I'm happy where we're at so far, but there's work to be done.
You just look at the recruitment that we've done so far. 3 new faces in the last 10 days or so. Start with the first one, Harvey Gilmore. Just what can you kind of tell us about him and how important it was for you to bring him in?
Harvey's a very good player who was on our radar immediately, who, as I've spoke about in the past, when we sign players now, it's not just a singular decision, so it's not just mine and mine only. There has to be a collaborative agreement on any player that we bring in. Harvey was brought to the table by all parties, actually. Everyone liked Harvey. And he, at National League level at least, but also he's been involved in a football league. At National League level, he's had a rock solid campaign, and he's proven himself to be a sought after player. He had an excellent season last season, culminating in a great experience at Wembley for him and his club. And he was a player who was very keen to get round the table with and talk football with. From that point on, I had a brilliant conversation with Harvey and was always quite hopeful that it was going the right way. So good character as well from my feel and from my character references. He's a player that I think will be good in the changing room. They'll have to like him in the changing room. We'll have a good attitude to improve us and help Rochdale. Obviously that helps him, but the balance of helping the team as well will be there with Harvey. So really pleased with that signing.
I know you said Cairo Mitchell was kind of number one target in that area of the pitch, so just how pleased were you to get that signature done?
Very. Cairo is a player that can really help the team. I think he's a bit of like a hybrid between a number 9 and a target man with high mobility. So yeah, a mobile target man, but still with goal scoring capabilities. And I think that's an area of the team that we've need help with. I think he helps a lot of other people get the goals that they can get in a season. They need that type of player like Cairo to help them be what they can be. But I also think he can add goals to us as well. But yeah, I think more so than goals for Cairo, I think Cairo adds goals for the team, if that makes sense. And he's a player again who, upon watching him, I instantly liked his desire to work for the team hard. So in a Jake Beasley-esque sort of manner, in terms of how humbly he just runs and runs and runs for the team, is a real nuisance for 2 centre backs, let alone one. I was happy with that trait about him straight away, and I think there's still so much potential for Cairo to fill, and I can see why other clubs have paid money for Cairo a couple of times, and I think this could be the place for him, and we could be the environment for him to go on and be what he can be, and again that helps us.
And third signing announced was Cody Johnson, obviously younger age than the previous two, but for the reviews that we've seen about him over the weekend from fans that have seen him play for Stockport, for Banbury last season, really promising, highly rated youngster.
Very good young player, very good young footballer. Seems a great lad as well. Again, doing our diligence, speaking to people about Cody, and then meeting Cody, and people from Stockport around the table had a good chat about where we all see Cody's plan, and Cody can help us. We think Cody's ready to begin to compete for a starting place in National League teams. We were happy that Stockport were happy that we were the right place for that. Cody seemed very keen, which is great, and he's a giddy young footballer ready to get his career going, wants to prove himself, and there's plenty there for us to think that he can be a really key young player for us to support the squad, and also take his chance when the time comes to state his claim and his place and his mark on our team.
How does sort of the further recruitment look at this stage? Obviously it's kind of different in National League, isn't it? There's no end date of a transfer window that everything has to be done by. Is it a case of remaining patient to get the players that you want in over the summer?
It is. It's obviously a little bit different to what we've been used to in the Football League, with the way the management of the windows or non-management of the windows. Sometimes we dictate to the market what we want, but in some moments as well, the market kind of dictates to us. Identifying the players is genuinely the easiest part, Greg. Seeing who we like, knowing who we like, that's even though there's quite a few of us that have to agree on it, it's the easiest part. But then a number of other things have to fall into place. We have to agree with the club, we have to agree with the player, we have to agree with the agent. These things all have to fall into place, and that's the difficult part. That's the part where patience is key. The fans need to be patient. I need to be patient, which I find difficult. I am impatient on these things, but I need to be patient. And the work is continuing right now. The work was continuing before this interview, and the work will continue as soon as this interview is finished. We have to continue to scour the market and really watch players. And once we get past a stage where we initially like them, we have to delve deeper again. Because our budget is the most humble budget in my time since I've been here, and the club are unhappy how some of the money has been spent in the last 2 years, in the last whatever how many windows that is, and they're guarded against making mistakes or what they feel is mistakes down that road again. So we have to do as much diligence as we can, and no one can get everything right, but we have to do as much diligence as we can and that's now going to continue. We've still got areas of the pitch we need to strengthen, but we have to be patient, and some people reject us straight away based on budget and salary and wages. And there's some players who are interested but are hanging around in the market a little longer just to see, you know, what they can get, or they might want to play a level higher but there isn't an offer yet. So there's loads of situations that are live right now still with players, and we're monitoring them pretty much hourly, to be honest. That's all we're doing right now.
On those players that we offered contracts to at the end of last season, can you give any update at this moment in time on those players?
Not really, Greg. No, that's not really a situation I can update you too much upon. The offers went out to those players out of contract, and there's no real update on that as of yet.
It's just kind of a wait and see kind of thing over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I might be saying that one a lot over the next few weeks, Greg, to be honest, mate. But that's where we're at with that one. Yeah.
So, looking ahead now, back in next week for pre-season start. Is the midweek start? Is it something like that next week for getting the lads back in?
Yeah, we're back in midweek next week. Initial testing and everything else. We're in the midst of designing that program now. Game schedule has been released. It's managing that, how that all works for us as we move into a new season. Things such as different playing surfaces. We have to get pre-season fixtures on different playing surfaces to get used to what we're going to face this year. So everything that is controllable, we're trying to control to the best we can, and that's all we can do. Try and control the controllables. The players will be back next week, and off we go. We'll get to work. There'll still be a lot of work to be done in shaping our squad, incomings and outgoings, and we have some expectations that there may be some movement towards at least a couple of our players live in the pre-season period, but we'll also have deadlines with those players in terms of when we will allow that to not go beyond, because otherwise it could be too damaging to our prospects for the start of the season. So we've got contingency plans in place and targets in areas where we feel there's a reasonable risk we might lose players late, but there's so much that's live and ongoing. We can't predict everything the way it'll pan out. Otherwise we'd all master this job very easily. So we're doing everything we can as positively as we can, and I'm feeling very positive about the prospects of everything right now.
The 3 season fixtures that we've got, the 6 friendlies, how do you view them? We've got 3 games against teams from divisions above, 3 against teams from division below. Is that a nice balance?
I see it exactly that, Greg, yeah. A nice balance of competitiveness and challenges, different styles. I think it sets up exactly what I need in terms of a game schedule for what we're going to begin to face week in, week out in our league. I think it's important that we challenge ourselves in different ways throughout the pre-season, and I need to see our players, both old and new, challenged in different ways on a football pitch, because I need to know what my go-to decisions are going to be once the real stuff starts. So it's about challenging our players, and games is the ultimate challenge for everyone. I'm quite happy with the game schedule.